no woman had been voted into parliament in the 2017 national election. When the 22 reserved seats for women were presented to parliament by Dame Carol Kiddu in 2011, they could only get a constitutional amendment to Section 101, which is on membership, paragraph D, which states a number of women elected from a single-member women's electorate, as defined under an organic law. This means after receiving 72 votes by Parliament to amend Section 101, the 22 women's seats are available. But what needs to be done is an amendment to the organic law on the national and local level government elections, which now requires 84 votes, which wasn't able to be mastered. That's where the nationwide consultation on the review of the organic law on national and local level government elections can help. The Constitution and Law Reform Commission has been given 18 months for the nationwide consultation, and they are collecting information and are running seminars with a National Research Institute like the one last week in Port Moresby. They will need to hear whether or not people want the inclusion of the 22 reserved seats or the inclusion of specific interest groups, like people living with disability or other majority groups like the Motu Koitabus and others. The CLRC are still open for submissions to be given by the public on suggestions on areas in the organic law on national and local level government elections that can be changed. The written submissions can be dropped at their office in Port Moresby. Dame Carol Kiddu was at the seminar last week and said that most members of parliament understood the bill back in 2011, but certain circumstances didn't allow for the 22 reserved seats to be in place.
Say that during my 15 years in politics, it was one of the most thoroughly researched and presented legislation in terms of presentation. I made sure they were put on every member's table rather than taken to their rooms. During session, they were put in front of each MP, and I watched them push them aside. It's a matter of whether one is ready. There was political will at the time. We had the change in government, so it became almost impossible because the numbers had boycotted. I think, did they understand? I think those who wanted to did. Those who didn't want to, and that's like life. Sometimes people are never willing to move their position.
She added that when she was in Parliament and Minister for Community Development, no specific questions were ever asked about the specific interest groups.
When was I ever asked a substantive question, a question of substance, about the interests and the needs of those groups? You will find almost never. And I will tell you also that when I was asked questions, I usually wrote the questions myself and gave them to my male colleagues and said, please ask me this question so we can highlight it on the floor.
Fidelis Sukina, National EMTV News.